In this video, we're gonna show you how to calibrate the HT 5000P AC/DC 200 milliamps TV. This is the main screen of the calibration. We have a voltage high, voltage low, current high, and current low. We're going to start by showing you how to calibrate the voltage. Before you start, we have a setup of a high voltage probe, 1000 to 1 volts, so we can plug the multimeter to read the voltage. We go to the next screen. In this screen, we can see we are set to calibrate the AC voltage. We have a red button to enable the high voltage, and we have on the right side calibration voltage high and calibration voltage low. That button is going to be pressed to indicate which value we are calibrating. We're going to press test. Voltage is enabled, and we can see on the meter that we start reading voltage 160 volts. Remember those 1000 to 1. We can increase by pressing the up. To calibrate the low voltage, we recommend calibrating at a voltage of around 600. You can select any voltage, but 600 is a good starting point, or something close. Once you are there, you can just make note of the value that you have on the meter, 642. Okay. The next step is to press the cal voltage low. We are not going to press it right now because our tester is already calibrated. But once you press the cal voltage low, it's gonna save those 602, 603 value. It's gonna tell you that it's calibrating the low voltage point. And when you finish, you're gonna go back to the other screen. You're gonna release the test. You're gonna go back to the screen, and you are going to enter the multimeter voltage in the voltage low, which is the second line. In this case, we are seeing our calibration. This is how it was saved when we perform calibrations. We had a value of a 630. We need to repeat the process for the high voltage. We go to the next screen, we leave it in AC, we press test, like that, enables the high voltage. And then for the high voltage, the high point, we recommend on AC something around 3500 volts. So we increase the output to that value or something close. Once we're there, we take note of the reading of on the multimeter, 3546. The next step is to press high cal voltage high, which is the first one. Once we do that, we can release the test button. We go back to the previous screens. Once we hear the variable go to 0, we go back, and we can enter the value of the multimeter in the first line. Then you go next, 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 and we have a button on the corner, left bottom corner, that says save to EEPROM. If you press that, the values that you enter on the calibration high and low point are going to be saved. We go back. Again, we're not pressing that because our tester is already calibrated. To do the DC, we just flip the switch to DC, and we repeat the process. We can show you our values of the DC. You can see it's a little bit higher, since on DC we can reach up to 7,000 volts. For the higher calibration point, we can use something around 5,500 volts. In our case, it was 5,365. And for the lower calibration point, something around the 700. The same process applies for the leakage or for the current. You need to set up the load so you can flow at least 120 milliamps. We recommend points of something around 40 milliamps and 120 milliamps for calibration purposes. You gotta make sure that your load can handle the power, and you can calculate by Ohm's law what resistor you want to use to make sure you can flow the current.